Welcome back to Real. First episode, I'm going to speak about the platonic relationship between men and women. Now, to me, they're real, but they're not as authentic as some actually are. Now, what I'm saying by that is, of course, there are some that are real and some that are authentic and truly embody what it means to have a strictly platonic relationship with an opposite gender. Now, as as possible as it is, it's not as relevant and as common as some people may believe the relationship really is at heart. And what I mean by this is, like, for most guys, anyways, we will share a strictly platonic relationship. Of course, there will be no secret animosity. There will be no weird activity going on. About like 7 to 8 times out of 10. Now, of course, some relationships aren't like that. Some people don't have strong enough bonds. That's just a natural thing. But typically, guys are easily like the friendship just remains simple. No bad blood, no bad energy, no weird stuff going on. If there is any altercation or argument, typically it's easily overcome and forgotten about very shortly after because it's typically not that deep as most people may see their relationship or friendship issues. Now, I'm not saying like you could just go argue with your friend about like something bizarre and then you guys are cool the next day. But typically, whenever there is any kind of issue at hand, it's not enough to make the friendship, disappear. Now, I'm not sure just the same thing exists with most female friendships, and that friendships that just consist of strictly women or girls. Obviously, there's a difference in terms of maturity or age gap, whatever. But strictly in the like women relationships, typically it's not so simply structured. And what I mean by this is because I've witnessed a bunch of relationships consisting of just strictly women, and typically either their ideologies don't align, their thought patterns don't align, their what their idea of a friendship is and being a real friend don't really align with each other. Because on one hand, you may have like one or two individuals that are like real friends and like really look out for each other and just want the best for one another, and you just have that weird friend that just like doesn't do that. Like they just don't really care if something bad would happen to you, or they don't take things a lot seriously, or they don't really like you as much as you may adore them and care for them as a true friend. They may have some weird energy going on their behalf, right? And that typically makes the relationship, of course, fall out because how are you going to consider this person your friend or interact with this person and be in their friend group, but you don't have the best interest for them? And that's typically a problem nowadays. Is a lot of people don't even have the best interest for one another, right? So like if I have a friend, I'm gonna want that person doing the best that he could be doing in his life, or the best that she could be doing in her life, and I'm just gonna strictly want only good things for them. I'm not gonna wish bad things upon them. I'm not gonna hope bad things happen to them, and I'm not gonna force them to happen either. I'm not gonna go out of my way to do something knowing that it will have like a heavy impact on that person, because that's wrong, right? But typically, there exists a person and a friend group of women who don't think like that, and they will do something weird. And for these kind of situations, I can see where it makes sense for a friendship between both a guy and a girl to be more properly structured, anyways, and more like real and authentic compared to, yes, two girls or two women. As majority of the time, they're not as, honestly, they're really not, because yeah, even just like thinking about it currently, most of those relationships aren't real. I know a bunch of women who've probably had a friendship with another girl who they claim to be like really locked in and really like strong and have a very deep and like strong and bond connection, but then they managed to fall over something that was very like sneaky and very weird for the other person to do. Now, like I said, these problems can obviously occur and exist in any friendship. That's well known, but it's just has a very much higher chance to occur when, for some odd apparent reason, not sure because I'm not a woman myself, so I wouldn't know. But for that reason, from what I see, anyways, or what I'm told as well, is yes, when it's strictly a relationship that women share, there is a much higher chance for them to end up falling out because of what one of them commit. If it's a friend group, or even if it's just two of them. Now, like I said, I'm not sure what this reason is for, but it's very like relevant and reoccurring to some degree. Now, when it comes to strictly men and women sharing a relationship, the part where it isn't as platonic as people hope is because we obviously know it's a natural attraction for both a guy and both for a girl. Whether the guy's attracted to the girl or the girl's attracted to the guy. So for their relationship to be strictly like bonded and formed out of just strictly friendship intentions isn't too likely. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying it's not often likely. Like there may be something behind it where it's like their relationship at least wasn't created strictly out of just the intent of being friends. Maybe this person seen him one day and was just like, oh, this person's pretty attractive. Let me talk to them. And maybe their relationship didn't form the way it could have started, or it did start. Like maybe like the initial encounter was you approaching them because of their looks, or with the intent of trying to get to know them, but maybe not in a friendship manner. However, that didn't happen like that. However, instead of anything forming out of it in a relationship manner, you guys became really good friends. Something like that. Or maybe you guys, just existed in the same friend group and started to talk a little more outside the friend group. And for some time, maybe it stayed platonic. But maybe like the closer you guys got, the more you guys drifted into feeling, feelings for each other and developing emotions for each other. That kind of thing. And despite all that, or like some people may believe like, oh yeah, my relationship with this person is just strictly just like, solid. Nothing weird going on, strictly solid. But maybe the other person doesn't feel that way. Maybe the other person secretly is waiting their turn, or just has some weird intent, because that's also very likely. Where you believe this person is nothing weird in any manner, but deep down they really are, because they get a slight chance or slight opening, they will take it. Think about it like this. Think about if you're rich, right? Let's say you're a millionaire and you have at least $200 million to your name, something like that. You know that finding real and authentic people is not that easy, because now that you're rich, you can easily make a friend, pretty much, because they may want to be friends with you strictly because you have money. They may not care about your character, your personality at all, but you have money. So it kind of like makes them want to be friends with you for their own personal benefit. And the same thing can apply to a woman, for instance. They don't care about you, essentially, but you're an attractive person. So that attractiveness alone may persuade them to be like, okay, let me kind of interact with this person a little bit, see where we go. And then if I somehow get friend zoned, I'll still try to make something out of that situation. And I'm still very close to this person, to where I have a better chance now, compared to when they know me as a stranger. So like, if you walk up to a millionaire right now, they don't know you. They're not gonna give you money, right? But if you befriend them, maybe at some point they may pull you in deeper to their circle and into their personal bubble, and they may be more inclined to do nice things for you. Some people kind of have that mindset to where it's like same thing works with a girl, and since they're closer to you, they're now closer to you, you may be feeling more inclined to get closer to them, and then something may form out of that. Obviously, there's some people that sound dumb, like obviously no, that would happen. But sometimes it does happen, and sometimes people do strictly put themselves in that kind of position to be a friend, just so that they have a little more access to what they initially wanted, if that makes sense. And on top of that, to me, I feel like nowadays it's not as easy to build such a platonic bond, because like most people are just strictly blinded by a lot of lust, right? To where they can't even see the authenticity, right, of a woman for who they are, right? Ignore the fact that it took a while to kind of pronounce that word, whatever. But right, strictly like that. Most people nowadays can't even see straight. They can't strictly look at a woman and just think like personality wise. They just see it very attractive, or they're not even gonna see attractive. They're probably gonna use any other different words that are just strictly for the body, right? Not even for the physical attraction of the character. But right, they'll see a pretty attractive woman and just that's all they see, and that's all they may see down the line. They don't care about the person and the personality and none of that. They just see the woman, and that alone is enough to gain their attention. Therefore, when it's naturally like that, it's also going to be hard to get a natural, authentic relationship because they don't really care about, like I said, they don't care about the authenticity, right? That's not what they're looking for. They're just looking for a very attractive person, which they seen, which they happen to stumble across upon, and they're gonna see where they could go with that. Same way, like I said, same way with the rich person analogy. Since you're rich now, you could never be fully looked at as just you. Some people may see you and see money. That's all they see, right? Or athletes or celebrities. They see you, they see an athlete, they see a famous person, they see a talented person, they see someone that they may be able to profit off of. And it's sad to say, but yeah, a lot of people in this generation aren't doing things for the people. They're doing it for more selfish intent. Even while doing things for you, they're probably still looking for something in return. So it's very hard to tell when people are gonna be real for you and who aren't. But I'm just saying, because like I said, for a guy it's pretty easy. It's pretty easier to tell, or just to know, or just even get along with a person. Like I said, it's typically a seven out of 8, or no, 7 to 8 out of 10 times, right? We could build a good strong natural bond without any weird things going on. But of course, there's still have room for error. Whereas I feel like for women, it's more of like at least from what I've seen, it's more like a 4 out of 10. Right? I've constantly seen relationships where it's just not strong enough to hold either for a long time or just at all. And there's a lot of room for running into someone that is, they don't care about you as much as you may care about them. And then when it comes, like I said, when it comes to male and female, it's more just like, it's 50-50. Probably 4 out of 10 as well, even, because as much as you probably could find someone that doesn't really care about your personal attraction, and let alone getting with you, it still is decently rare, as a lot of people aren't gonna be like that. And like I said, it probably isn't always gonna start off like that either. So there may not be a full 100% real relationship, real strictly platonic. But I'm gonna say that's going off for this video. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for listening. I'll see you guys in the next one.